Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video I want to talk about 3 players that had a slow start and whether you should worry about their sports cards. Major League Baseball is here. This sport is a sport built on 162 games. Reason for that is because it's a game of averages, literally and figuratively. You have to have a really large sample size to really understand if a player is good. If you watched Mike Trout this last week, he had a very rough week, even though he's probably still leading the league in OPS and OPS plus. But if you looked at him right now, you would think he's not very good. The same thing happened with Mookie Betts. Slow start, he had negative 0.2 WAR, now he's up to 0.8 WAR. He's in the top, I think, 30 players. So it's just these slow starts can happen, but sometimes these slow starts are a sign of actual issues with the player. Now, I want to discuss 3 players who had a slow start and whether I'm concerned about them or not, and their sports cards. It also might represent an opportunity to buy if their sports cards are lower because of their slow start, and you might be able to scoop up some cards for a better deal. So let's just jump right into it. First player, Kelenic. He is a hobby darling still, but right now his numbers have not been the best, and if he continues his slow play, he will not be a hobby darling for very much longer. You'll see right here he has his PSA 10 Bowman Chrome autograph. 2 years ago, it was worth $367 and a PSA 10 his base autograph. Now it's down to $281. Realistically, it was right around a little bit higher until recently. His slow start has been really pronounced. It's even been more emphasized due to Julio Rodriguez and other players playing better around him. But the point remains, he is dropping in the hobby. This also could be downwards pressure due to how many rookie cards he actually has. But overall, his negative performance is impacting his sports cards. So is his negative performance something he can break out of, or is this who Kelenic actually is? So here are his stats. I have a lot of information. I'll go through it really quickly with you. First thing I want to show is he actually has a positive 0.2 WAR this year. So he has not been a negative player overall. He gets that. If we go down here, you'll actually see he has positive defensive WAR, quite a bit of positive defensive WAR because he's a good defender. His outs above average is really high. That's really important for a player long term because they can have slumps offensively and still provide value on the other side of the ball. Players who are primarily offensive focused, if they have slumps, they get benched and then their cards get even worse. And so for Kelenic, it's nice for him to actually have positive defense. You'll also see, if we look over here, he's had 116 games, getting close to a full sample size for a full season over the last 2 years, but his 162 game average is still 22 home runs with a 596 OPS, a 67 OPS plus. You know, the average OPS plus is 100 is league average, so he has a lot of offensive production he needs to upgrade. If we look at his minor league stats though, we can see he was great in AAA. He hit 320 with a 1016 OPS, so it's obvious he has the potential to be very, very good. It's just he has not figured out the pitching yet, which makes sense. The ball is kind of dead right now, and on top of that, pitching is better now than it's ever been in the history of baseball. So I do also want to show his splits versus righties. He is a lot better. His OPS is 200 points higher, meaning he actually slugs the ball significantly better, and he actually gets on base significantly more as well. 14 home runs versus righties versus 2 with lefties. His home and away, he's a lot better on the road. He has a 639 OPS on the road, 549 at home. So if he is on the road against a right-handed pitcher, it's a good time for Kelenic. But if he's at home against the lefty, it's a bad time. And so he just needs to figure that out. He's only 22. He turns 23 in July. He has a lot of time to figure this out, but in the hobby, it's starting to get really close. If he doesn't figure it out by the end of this year, heading into his age 23 season, his cards will decline. Whether they'll stay down is something we'll have to watch, but he is the wild card of this video. He's neither a buy nor sell. I would hold his cards right now, and if you really believe in him coming back from this slow start, then I'd scoop some up, but I would not be selling if I were you yet. Next up, we have Trevor Story. Trevor Story signed a very large deal with the Boston Red Sox, went from the Colorado Rockies to the Boston Red Sox, and honestly, his last year in Colorado was not that good. He was not that good all around. He has WAR implications because he plays shortstop with positional adjustment. He gets a lot of WAR from that because he's still a league average bat at shortstop. That's still better than a league average bat at, say, third base or right field. You need to be above average with the offense in order to maintain real value at those other positions. We can see his cards are really the lowest they've ever been, at least for a very long time. You'll see 2020, his Topps Chrome rookie, this 2016 Topps Chrome, PSA 10, it's worth $46. Now it's at $24. So it's down 47%, and it was all the way down from this high. The high price was $245. So somebody did not have a very good time with Trevor Story. Are his numbers concerning? I think his numbers are more concerning than others, but at the same time, he has a proven track record where he can be very good. If we take a peek at his rookie year, he was the hot phenom that came onto the scene. He was great with the Rockies. I remember he was killing it. His first game, I think he had 2 home runs against Zach Greinke in Colorado. And then, he had a 909 OPS, 122 OPS plus, very offensive, friendly environment, and finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. He had a really down 2017 with an 84 OPS plus, but he is basically a 120 OPS player. He's not going to be Mike Trout. He's not going going to be Juan Soto. He's not going to be Mookie Betts. He's not going to be that type of player who's going to be an offensive dynamic game changer. He has a lot of speed. He led the league's in stolen bases in 2020. He had 20 last year. He has sprint speed still in 77th percentile, but he's always been a swing and miss type player. Throughout his entire career, he even led the league once with strikeouts. So you'll see a lot of Boston Red Sox fans are probably concerned with Trevor Story. As a player, I'm not concerned at all about him at all, but as an investment for sports cards, I am a little concerned about him because he's getting older. He's in his age 29 season, only 26 WAR, and he's had a down part with his new club. That's a little concerning for me. I wouldn't recommend selling right now because it's super low, but if you wanted to get out of his cards, I wouldn't blame you. He will recover this year and end with probably a 2 to 4 WAR. He just will because he's a great ball player. Even yesterday, this is reflecting the stats as of Wednesday evening. He had, I think, 2 or 3 doubles and 3 RBI, so that probably raised his WAR to positive. And so the point remains, once he figures it out offensively in a new environment, he's going to be just fine. But overall, as a sports card investment, I probably would not recommend Trevor Story right now, just because I think his Hall of Fame chances are dwindling. And on top of that, the Red Sox fans will be a little bit more critical with Trevor, and I think that will hurt his collectability overall. And the last player at a slow start is Julio Rodriguez. And I know you're going to be saying he's only, I think, 20 or 21 years old. Why are you putting him on this list? Of course he's going to have a slow start. And while that is true, his cards are not reflecting a slow start at all. Right now, his average price is $1,600. The current price is $1,800 for a PSA 10 Bowman Chrome. We go look at Kelenic again. His is only worth $281. He was a really highly touted prospect as well. So he needs to maintain some sort of production to maintain these values. Let's go look at his stats. Julio Rodriguez, 21 years old. He has a 603 OPS with an 83 OPS plus, still better than Jared Kelenic. But on top of that, he has 0.4 WAR. And again, that's because defensively, he's awesome. You'll wonder why I put these Hall of Fame statistics on here, because I wanted to emphasize that he is averaging 3 WAR for every 162 games played. So even at the lowest of his value, even if Julio stinks the rest of the year the way that he has, it's not his fault. Umpires are calling ball strikes on him like crazy. I think he has like 11 to 12 strikeouts on balls outside of the strike zone, which shows plate discipline on his part. But if that even maintains, he's still going to be worth 3 WAR. He's still going to be a positive player, which shows you if he's able to figure it out offensively, and he has great signs. Exit velocity is high. Average exit velocity is high. His hard hit percentage is high. He's just having bad luck. I bet you, I haven't looked at his BABIP. BABIP is your batting average and balls in play. It shows where you should be. I bet you he's a lot lower than his BABIP, which means he will get back to that mean and become an offensive, at least average player. He'll be much better. He has a outs above average 94th percentile, why his WAR is so high. On top of that, sprint speed in the 99th percentile. So what he is lacking right now offensively, he's making up as a complete player. Once he figures out offensively, the sky is the limit for Julio Rodriguez. I would not worry about him yet. You can see this power. Look how far that home run was hit. I like his spray chart as well. Shows he can go to the opposite field, which is really nice. So overall, Julio Rodriguez, he's the one player I am the least concerned about. I would say Julio, I'm not concerned about. Jared Kelenic, a little bit concerned. Trevor Story, probably pretty concerned as a sports card investor or collector. Other than that, guys, let me know in the comments below if you enjoy this type of video, and if you do, who you want me to look at next. And on top of that, what your thoughts are on these 3 players. And if you haven't already done this, please like the video and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and helps other people see it. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.